That's nice. Okay, so yeah, let me tell you a little bit more about the Institute today rather than the foundation, because the Institute is very much about research and partnerships. So I think this is much more interesting for you potentially. The Vodafone Institute was actually founded 5 to 6 years ago as the European think tank of the Vodafone Group. And we are located in Berlin. And it's a small team, but we have, let's say, a very large network of external partners in universities. I'm coming to that in a minute, but also work together with all parts of the company across Europe in particular. And what our mission is and our interest is really to understand the impact of digitalization on our societies, also our economies, but society as a broad. And try to understand how we can make sure that technology serves the common good, that it is used responsibly, that it is socially inclusive, and absolutely on top of the agenda, that it is sustainable, that it doesn't that it helps to preserve the planet rather than to accelerate global warming and other things which are harming the environment. And we understand our role as a convener, as a platform for dialogue. So we often start debates on digitalization-related topics before we develop a position and attitudes ourselves, because we really want to understand different stakeholder views. And how we are going to do this, it's a mix of things we do, which often think tanks provide. We work through events. We do research, often joint research projects, and we run Tech for Good projects and programs. For example, F-Lane. Maybe some of you have heard about this already. It's a global female tech accelerator program, which tries to enable and empower really women and girls worldwide, be it in health-related topics, financial inclusion, education, all kinds of topics which matter to women and girls. Just to give you a concrete example of our work, just in the context of digitalization and ethics, which is the focus area of the conference, what might be interesting potentially for you is the type of studies and papers we publish. For example, we just started in 2020 a quarterly European survey series, which really tries to understand what moves European citizens and what should policymakers, corporations, science look at when it comes to attitudes to important topics like the EU digital agenda, the EU Green Deal, how Europe and national governments dealt with COVID, and so on. Yeah. So you can see one example here on the EU digital agenda, which was published in the beginning of the year. But we also dive deeper into topics like big data and AI, which are also of high interest for Vodafone. And one partnership is with the Data Pipelines, which we work together on big data sharing between the government and businesses. And this was one of the first outcomes. It's called Sharing is Caring, the principles of data sharing between the private and public sector. And we will soon release in October a case study on these principles around COVID containment strategies. So watch out for this particular publication. I think it will be published around mid-October. On AI, we have established an event series with digital masterminds, which was based on a publication that we called Entering, and then the second part, Shaping a New Era. It tries to really understand what are the developments that are coming along with this very disruptive general purpose technology. And in the second edition, in this report, you can see here, we ask experts, thought leaders, practice leaders from all kinds of domains, from medicine to mobility, what have you. Yeah, so I really encourage you. This paper will be published very soon on our website, but we also run at least every 6 weeks in so-called AI and I talk. It's a virtual talk in the late afternoon. Yesterday we had the head of the chair of the German ethics committee, Alena Büchs, and she talked about the kind of ethical dilemmas and challenges which Corona confronted us with, which was really interesting. You can find the replay on our website. Just to close on the partnerships, you can see just a selection of our partners here on the slide. I mentioned Data Pub Alliance already. So we work together with a lot of universities and think tanks. One of them is the Oxford Internet Institute. And we are in particular close with Luciano Floridi, who will talk later this afternoon. He's sitting also on our advisory board. So quite a strong connection here to the UK still. And you can see other entities which are partly think tanks, associations, market research companies, but also social impact organizations like Social Business, which we run our Tech for Good programs with. Okay. And I talked about our advisory board already. You can see Luciano, who just joined our board, but also other renowned experts like Nuria Oliver. She's a renowned AI and big data specialist from Spain, but also other colleagues, professors from Germany, Professor Rademacher and Professor Fettweis from TU Dresden are sitting on the board, as well as Kate Darling and our chairman, Joachim Reiter from Vodafone. So very inspiring discussions with these gentlemen and ladies on our future strategies. Yeah, and I'll stop here and take any questions in case we have time, Clara.